guys, in today's review will be on this Bachmann pre-grouping locomotive exclusively for Rails of Sheffield, and I have reviewed this model before back in 2021 when it first came out. It is now 2025 and Rails of Sheffield have announced they are redoing the Caledonian as built, which is this one here, and the Caledonian preserved locomotives. So I thought I'd review mine and see if it's still a great model as I remember it. The product code for this one, and I think for the ones that are coming out, are 35-20Z. I believe it takes a next 18 or 21 pin connection. They did change the labels in the box. It came out December 2021, and this one is Era 2 because it's as built in a lighter blue condition. I just thought I'd re-review it, show you what sort of features you get with the model when they come out. I paid £200 for mine when they first came out, and the new batch that are coming out from Rails of Sheffield are £215 in the space of 4 years. So let's get in the review and see what it's all about, shall we? So here goes. As we start off at the detail bag you get with this locomotive, you do get quite a bit, but it is a small bag if you know what I mean. So you get the doors for the cab by the looks of it. You also get some air pipes or vacuum pipes to add as well. There's also something else in there, I'm not sure what it is. But then you also get the hooks and chain links as well for the front and back of the locomotive. I prefer Bachmann to add them for you, but just my preference. And you also get some lamps in blue, which looks a bit odd. I think you get about 4 or 5 in blue. Should they be in blue? I don't know. Maybe black or white, but that's just what I think. But yeah, it's a great touch. You get them in the bag. Now moving on to the front of the locomotive, I will start in my usual place, which is the front coupler. The front coupler is already attached. It is a small NEM pocket one. We also have some guard irons, knock stuff off the tracks down below as well. This being a model that came out in the last 10 years or so, it does have metal sprung buffers, and I believe it's turned metal as well, and the metal's quite shiny, matches the rest of the metal on the locomotive. Again, I do think sprung buffers are pointless in 00 unless using chain links. The buffer beam and housing is in a maroon colour, a dark red, with lining on the buffer shanks, I believe. They've got lining on there. In the centre of the buffer beam, we do have CR, I think it's 828 in the correct font. All around the buffer and the inside lining, there is a white line going around, I believe. We have 2 holes in the buffer beam which are for the details, that are in the detail bag, which is your hook and chain link, and I think a vacuum pipe or steam pipe. There's also some rivets on the buffers themselves, the buffer heads that go in to the buffers, which have several rivets on them. Moving on up, as far as I'm aware, there is no lamp irons at the bottom, but there's quite a few rivets dotted around. We can also see some, I think, lubrication pots. They are picked out in a copper or gold colour. We have the submarine styled door release in silver, picked out inches as well. Don't think the door opens, I'm really unsure. We have a set-applied handrail, which is metal. Then at the top above that we do have 1 lamp iron, and then we've got the chimney with a few rivets attached to it. As we now move on to the side of the locomotive, both sides to me are exactly the same with a few differences. So around the other side we do have a Westinghouse pump or some sort of pump around there which is lined correctly. And then around this side we have a metal reversing rod just before the middle splasher. So the delivery of this locomotive is in the Caledonian blue, the lighter blue. We do have lining and boiler bands. The lining and boiler bands are white, black and white. We have it on the boiler band, like I said, the splashes, the sanding pots and the cab side as well. If you look closely inside, you can see some inside motions that's been picked out in red, and there's quite a massive air gap, which is good to see it when it's running around. We also have a handrail that runs all the way around the boiler of the locomotive as well. Where the chimney is in the smokebox door, that is in a normal black. It's not in any like matte black or anything like that they do this day and age. You can also see some washout plugs again, which do seem to be picked out in the silver. All along the running plate there is rivets. All along there you can see the rivets. There is some little handrails as well dotted around where the steps are that go up in the middle of the wheel arrangement. The sole bar itself again is lined, which is fantastic. Most of the model is lined and it's fantastically done. So the lining is white, maroon and white. We have it on the step, like I said. The step itself is in black. As we move on down to the wheel configuration, the wheel configuration is at 060 I believe it is a 3F in BR standards. We have lining on the wheels. The axles are covered up. Again, we have more lining around them as well. We have the shiny, I think the conrods or the rods. They are a shiny metal. If you look carefully enough between the wheels, you can see the sanding pipes and the brake shoes. They all line up, and there is some other underframe detail down there as well. We do have a step on the cab side. Again, that is lined. The cab side itself is lining everywhere. There's a few rivets as well. We have a number plate, which is 2828, with some handrails that are in silver. Then we have a lampine at the top of the cab side. Again, everywhere you look, there is just pure lining everywhere. Now on to the cab detail and the front of the tender. So like I said before, the cab detail does have handrails and they do seem to be metal. Inside the cab, this being a modern day-ish locomotive, been out in the last 10 years or so, does have a firebox glow. I think on DCC it may flicker as well. I think mine might have a little bit of light bleed. So we do have a regulator, we also have a brake handle as well. They've all been picked out. We have pipework picked out in a copper or gold. I believe we've got fake water in the water gauges. I believe the dials do have numbers on. Most things, if not everything in there, has been painted correctly to how they should be. And it looks like we could have flush glazing in there too. There's also a movable foreplate between tender and loco that is movable. Again, that is a metal piece. I can now move over to the front of the tender. The front of the tender does have rivets on it. We also have a step with lining as well. More handrails. We have a chute for the coal. There's also a fireman tools and cupboards for the fireman, and I think there is a water handle scoop as well, picked out in silver. Now on to the tender sides. The tender sides are exactly the same to me. So what we do have is the Caledonian blue livery with the white, black and white lining all around the tender. We also have the initials, CR, in the centre. Then in the middle of all that we have the Caledonian crest, which is wonderfully done. The tampo printing on this is fantastic. Even on the small doors we do have lining. We have metal handrails. If we go on down, we also have some lining again on the running plate or sole bar of the tender with black steps. Again, that's white, maroon, red and white. I forgot my facts correct. The axles and supports are all lined, again in that maroon colour. I even think the wheels have also been lined too. And then we've got the steps at the end near the tender as well. Everywhere you look on here, there is wonderful lining. As we now move to the back of the tender, the back of the tender is much like the front of the locomotive. So we do have a NEM coupler already attached to the tender in this pocket. It's a small one with guard eyes to knock stuff off the tracks. We have metal round buffers which are sprung. We have that lining again, I believe, on the buffer shanks. Again, it's in the maroon. The buffer beam itself is marooned with a bright red insert like the front. And in there you've got a hole for your detail pack and some other stuff as well. As we move on up, I do believe we do have a lamp eye in there in black. Again, we have some more of this lining which is white, black, white, with the numbers smack bang in the centre of the tender. Then behind that we have the Caledonian light blue. Then at top of all that we do have another lampine. If I have missed any lampines, I do apologise, but it does look quite a lovely tender from the back here with the lining. Now, as we do an aerial view on top of the tender, I will start in my usual place, which is the water filler cap area. I believe we have two on here. Again, they look to be, I think, separately applied. But if not, they're really good. We do have some bracing going on as well, and I think the water filler caps do have handles on. We also have I think it's a removable coal load, but I can't seem to get mine out, so I'm unsure, but it seems to move. The coal load doesn't seem too bad. It's not too chunky, it's not too small. It looks the part to me. Again, the tender's not full completely with it. There's some gaps. If you want to add your own, you could. We also have a toolbox on one side as well, and the other side I think has the water scoop or water capacity stuff. I have heard that the tender itself is just too thick in general. Some people are saying it's too thick, but I'm no expert, so I can't personally tell. To me, it looks good. I also think there's a few rivets dotted around as well. We now move on to the top of the locomotive itself. Let's start in the usual place, which is the cab roof. The cab roof itself is in black. There's no vents or anything on there, but there is plenty of rivets. Move forward just a little bit. From here you can see that we do have lining even at the front of the cab. We have the spectacles again picked out in gold. We have, I think it's a plastic whistle. The piping does go into the cab, and then we have the safety valves with red and blue. Again, that looks to be a separately applied piece. Either side of that you can see a few washout plugs going on which are picked out in silver. Like I said before, we do have lining on the boiler. The boiler again is in white, black and white, in the light Caledonian blue I want to call it. The dome itself looks to be a separately applied piece, and it could even be metal. To me, mine doesn't look too off colour to the rest of the model. And then we have the chimney that's separately applied at the end with some rivets going around. Again, you can't tell it's separately applied, it looks quite good. And then you can see the handrails as well around the rest of the locomotive. As we now move on to the underneath look at this locomotive. First off, what I will say, I do believe this locomotive is a coreless motor, so just be careful on what controllers you use. Some controllers don't like coreless motors. So we do have metal wheels. We also have pickups on all 6 driving wheels as far as I'm aware, and it is the traditional copper strip. As you can see, we also have the brake rigging already applied. I think it's 3 screws to take off the base keeper plate. Not too sure if it's hardwired or it comes off clean. And from here you can see that it is the middle driving wheels that drive the locomotive. You can also see the rods here are shiny, like I've said. The wheels do have lining. We also have the standing pipes and brakes. They're all lined up with the wheels, and you can see some more underframe detail going on with the locomotive. And then we get to the loco and tender connection. And finally we move on to the loco and tender connection and the tender. So this is the old-fashioned way that Bachmann used to do, which I'm not a big fan of. So we have a metal drawbar going across with some wires that are attached together by a plastic cap that go into a little stub on the tender. These do come undone easily, and if that happens you'll be pulling the train by the wires. Not a fan of it, but it does the job. I was hoping that Bachmann would do the push-fit connection for it, but they haven't. So, like the locomotive, we do have the brake rigging already applied. As far as I'm aware, there's only 4 of the wheels that pick up on the tender. The middle set doesn't look like it does, but it may be at the top of the wheels. I'm unsure. The wheels are metal again. You can see some soldering joints. You can also see the plug just goes past the first lot of wheels by the tender. Then in the end, we have the NEM pockets and buffers. So yeah guys, that's it on the tracks. Next up will be the usual second radius and points test, so here goes. It should manage these. It is a Bachmann locomotive and it is modern, so here goes. A little fast, but 20. See if it will go back. There's a little whining noise going on. Backwards now. Again, around the 20 mark. So yeah, it managed the second radius and the points test pretty well, if I'm honest with you. It can do the points a little slower, but yeah, it managed it. 20 is not too bad. So next up will be some slow speed, and I'll wind it a train to pull, and I'll see you at the end. So here goes. Not bad. Just below 20. Definitely not bad for a DC ready model. So yeah, that's the end of the running session and the review. Before I give my opinion on this model, I'll tell you what was pulling, which were some Graham Farish or Grafar LMS coaches based on a Southern coach. The reason for that, I thought Bachmann and Graham Farish are partners, they do the Engage stuff, so it's just nice to run some 00 stuff from Graham Farish. So opinion and price now. Like I said, when I first bought this in 2021 December, it was £200 minus the deposit, which was £30 from Rails of Sheffield. Now, if you were to buy the new one that's coming out, I believe in Q1 2026, according to my information, in the same livery, same number, you are talking just shy of £215 for the same model. I understand inflation and all that rest of that stuff. Models are going up. Food's going up, living costs are going up. I understand it. I don't know if there's been any tweaks to the model. Maybe it's got a push fit tender and LOCO connection, but from the pictures it doesn't look like it. The only thing that I don't like about this model is simply the drawbar connection. I just don't like it from Bachmann. Easily comes undone. But saying that, the locomotive itself is in a wonderful livery. It is very pretty. It has some wonderful features like inside motion, doesn't move. It has wonderful lining. It also has a firebox flicker or glow. I have heard the tender is a little chunky, but I'm no expert. And it has the shiny handrails as well. Overall, it's a good model. There is a place for pre-grouping liveries and models, in my opinion. We do have the Caledonian 123 by Rapido, I believe, on its way, and I think there's some Evolution coaches as well. But yeah, the prices are what they are. People will moan, and it's just the way of the world. But for me, I am very happy with this model. Runs perfect. All of the running session was 20 on the Gauge Master Combi. Again, these coaches are pretty light, but it managed it. I believe it's a freight locomotive in real life. I think previous review I did, it was pulling trucks. I just thought I'd go with a change. But yeah, this is quite a nice one. It all comes down to your budget and price. So for me, this was my review or re-review of the Bachmann / Rails of Sheffield Caledonian 812 as built. Hope you find this useful. Hopefully I'll see you in the next review or video. Please take care and goodbye.